The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your coffee time crew.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. Of course, I'm Ed, and I got my regular folks, part of the crew, Carol and Pedro. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. And we're back live. I did check yesterday, and we was having some problems. I think some Facebook feeds did not receive us, but some did. So it's our streaming site, guys. Forgive us, but we're back on. We're live on YouTube and Facebook.
So you're not hearing me, Pedro?
I am hearing you.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, the way you jumped in is like I didn't come in.
No, well, you said hi to Carol, and Carol said hi, and then it was me to say hi. So I, just let the viewers know about the issue about yesterday.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Anyway. You need a second cup of coffee, man.
Well, no, I mean, again, I was still navigating as well and didn't hear everything you said. But anyway.
No, it's all right, buddy.
No, we all good. So anyway, let me jump in. We got two interest groups for y'all tonight. We got it's ladies' night. So we got makeup application and skincare at 5 o'clock with Miss Aletha Donaldson. And then at 6 o'clock, we got lady support group with Miss Vanetta Davis Del Castillo. So come on out tonight, ladies. Check them out, hang out, do what y'all do, and enjoy yourself. So anyway, other than that, hopefully everything comes out right today. Again, like Pedro said, we apologize for whatever technical difficulties may have occurred, but hey, all I can do is set this thing up the way they tell me to set it up, and if something goes wrong, I'm sorry. It ain't my fault.
Right.
Because, I mean, again, I always say it every time something like this happens. This is why we ain't got no self-driving cars right now, because there's just these glitches. I mean, it's a glitch. Computers mess up on a regular basis. So,
right.
That's just basically part of the, part of the way we had to deal with this stuff. So, but anyway, let me see, where was I at this morning? Oh, so getting into our first article, as you guys heard, that were listening to us on the Facebook side, I guess, yesterday. Pedro had to jump out a little bit right at the end of the show because he wanted to go do the WWDC. So anyway, in reference to that, that's what our first article is. It's all about WWDC. So come on, check this out, and we'll talk on the other side.
Hey, Blind United crew, grab your first cup as the Coffee Time crew gets into this first article. Monday was a huge day in the tech world as Apple held its annual Worldwide Developers Conference, or WWDC. The keynote address set the stage for the next year of software and innovation, and the big theme this year was a complete visual overhaul of their operating systems and a host of new features designed to make their devices more helpful and integrated. The most significant announcement was a new design language, internally called Liquid Glass, that will be coming to all Apple devices this fall. This is the biggest visual update to iOS since 2013 and is inspired by the see-through, dynamic look of the Vision Pro. This means menus and toolbars will have a translucent, frosted glass appearance that subtly changes based on the content behind them, aiming for a more fluid and less cluttered look. Alongside the new design, Apple announced that it is changing its naming system. Instead of iOS 19, the next version will be called iOS 26 to match the upcoming year. This new mobile OS will include smaller but meaningful updates, such as a unified messages inbox and the ability to create polls in group chats. For those who use their phone in the car, CarPlay is also getting an update with a more compact view for incoming calls, so it doesn't block navigation. For the accessibility community, there were several powerful features announced that were previewed back in May. These include a new Braille Access app that turns an iPhone into a full-featured Braille note-taker, a system-wide accessibility reader to make text easier to see and customize across all apps, and the arrival of the Magnifier app on the Mac. Live captions are also being expanded, now arriving on the Apple Watch, allowing users to get real-time captions of conversations happening on a paired iPhone. This year's conference wasn't about flashy new hardware, but about deep, foundational software changes. Apple is betting on a new design and smarter features to improve the experience for hundreds of millions of users, with a welcome and continued focus on pushing the boundaries of accessibility. What are your thoughts on this? We'd love to hear them. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Well, again, Apple's always doing what they can, especially on the accessibility front, for us. But I guess I can see where this liquid glass thing, or whatever they're calling it, on the visual side might be a positive thing, So I'm not going to complain about it too much. I guess my phone will have it at some point, even though, unless there's some sort of an audible cue to that, I ain't gonna know it's there, just because I can't see through whatever to see whatever behind it, all that other kind of stuff, whatever. But again, it's just it's changing, going with the times. Thought they only did basically one update a year, so I guess it almost makes sense. Why not just start naming the update by whatever year it is? Jaws did that. What, I don't know, maybe 5, 6 years ago, something like that. When they first started doing Jaws 20, Jaws 2022, and so on and so forth. So it makes sense. But hey, y'all got a lot of good stuff to start looking up forward to. Cause for those that seem like the package is going to be more exciting to our visual counterparts rather than stuff for us. But anyway, that's what I got on it. What you saying, Carol?
I'm just saying, the more the merrier. If the better, the better. They're just trying to keep up with everything and I guess refresh on all the latest new whatever we need. They are accessible with Apple. Originally I was an Android lover, being visual, but now that I'm, doing the iPhone because it is much more accessible to me, I'm just, happy to hear that they're continuously trying to improve more and more each year by adding something new, easier to navigate, I'm sure, voice prompted to where we don't actually have to see a lot of these new things. We can actually just use our voice, use our double tap, slide, triple tap, whatever it is that we have to do in order to navigate and use our phone, just like visual people do. So I'm just excited about it. I just got to get the new phone. I heard something about 2013 in the article. I have a 2012 phone, but hey, when is it? I think October. I'm gonna be getting the latest phone, so hopefully I can keep up with all the new things that are happening. So that's all I basically got to say about it.
Well, again, there's a lot of there's a lot of different stuff between the 12 and the 16. So
True.
But anyway, right quick, Tisha said good morning. She say, hey y'all.
Hey, Tisha.
Good morning,
Hey, Keisha.
Tisha. And again, so I know Pedro got a lot to say on this. I just want to say this right, y'all. if y'all gonna work with these phones, please, please, please learn how to use the phones. I mean, it the phone is a great, great, great tool. Your phone is a great, great toolbox. But if you don't know how to navigate your phone and use the stuff in there, then it's, I mean, I'm sorry. If you're not going to use the phone, then you wasting your money. You might as well just go and get you, a little flip phone or something like that, just simple you can make phone calls with, because that's basically all you're going to be able to do if you don't know how to navigate your phone. Anyway, let me step down. I got kind of pushed in a different direction this morning, so I just feel I need to say that. Learn how to use your phone. I'm sorry.
Yes, guys, learn how to use your
Learn
phone.
how to
Yes.
use your phone, everybody.
It's a great toolbox. You can actually do so much on your phone. You can do your work at home on your computer, but you can take your work mobile, man. This can make your life more mobile, and knowing how to use it, and having it customized to your liking. But um going
Well,
back to
let me
the
real quick. Learning how to use your phone makes you more independent.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm,
The more
Yeah,
people
that's
come
true.
to school, that that's an advantage, right? That's a good feature, but again, it's all about your independence. If you can't do something on your phone, and now I gotta go and show you how to do this, or have to do something in a different way because you don't know how to navigate your phone, now you putting more work on me because you're not independent. Anyway, I'm sorry. Let me
That's
stop.
true. You're right. You're right.
mhm,
So
mhm. It's always
everybody
good
learn
to
how to use your
learn.
phone.
Yeah. Yeah, so they announced a couple of things that I think are people just kind of glanced over and can be used for accessibility. You know, and I'm gonna start with the cons when they introduced Apple Intelligence. They have put out a commercial that was you be able to fluently talk to Siri and do multiple commands and all this stuff. And I think they kind of jumped the gun and pushed it like unrealized a dream yet, So I remember they had to pull that commercial back, because they over promised. But I hope they extend their Siri capabilities within, more smarter, uh, able to talk to it fluently like I do now, but make multiple requests and have it do those commands. But that aside, they introduced several new features like the liquid display is all great and all. I can just imagine it because when I used to jailbreak these phones back before the 7, the 6 and all that, I used to have mine transparent. I used to remove all the little text under the application so you can't even tell the name, but I used to make those transparent. Sometimes I made them solid black. Sometimes I used to make them into circle icons instead of squares. I used to love customizing my phone. I could just imagine how the liquid uh glass looks and gives it a nice like view and look. Okay. Now, things that might be useful for our community are going to be like that hold assist. It's going to be useful for everybody, but it's also coming for us. Have you ever been on hold for 2 hours trying to get into an office? You could set your phone and hold assist will hold you and alert you what someone picks up, and you could continue your call. Um, that's going to be across accessible for all of us. What they're having now is live translation, and this is not only just text based, this is going to generate a voice when you're on FaceTime and translate what that person is saying live with a generated voice that we as blind people can hear and then talk back to that person, and they will get a voice that translates like our English to their language and it's
Mm-hmm.
speakable. So we won't have to keep swiping left and right trying to see where all the captions at. We will hear it live. I think that's another, I know it's not an accessibility feature, but it's tailored to somewhat like us that we want to hear our text based data coming in. And this
Well, I
is
mean,
also,
it's also good to help us, just communicate with
of
people
course,
out in society. I
yes,
mean, that's what I mean. We came up with this stuff in the metas, where they started doing the live translation and stuff. I mean, it's a great feature,
yeah.
and it's going to help us out. But,
Right.
again, if you don't know how to navigate your phone, you ain't going to be able to use none of it.
That aside, I know I'm just introducing features what they're talking about.
I
Another,
know. I'm just re-emphasizing. I just want people to get the message. Siri is getting better, but Siri still cannot do everything for you. You
yeah,
got to navigate it.
they did not announce any Siri updates, so
Right.
Siri's gonna be the same. So learn how to use your phone.
Learn
Um,
how to use your phone.
yeah, it just got a little smarter last update, whatever it was. And they did live translations. They announced that Hold Assist, as I mentioned. They also announced like for the Photos app, I was one of those people that were like having a first in the beginning a hard time in navigating this Photos app. This Photos app also has a couple of bugs and stuff, so it jumps around once you have a video or photo selected. So sometimes you're sharing to multiple platforms, and sometimes the video or the photo selects a different one, and you think you're on that one, but it's not. There's a small bug. It might be just me, but Apple announced that they're bringing back the tabs that were in the bottom of the Photos application. Hooray, hooray. I wanted those back because I used to have library, albums, and memories, and I could go to albums and go to whatever album I wanted. I had separate albums. I got albums for like my album artwork and other things like that, social media and other little things, and I separate them by albums and things like that. So that's back. I'm glad. That's a plus. Um, Now, also with live translation, this happens instantly in your messages too. If the iPhones detect what language is being used, it will start translating into English and let for you. And then when you send back a message, it will start translating for that person as well. And this not only for iPhones, this is across Android devices too. So
Mm-mm.
Apple is allowing Android to play nice. So let's see how it goes. Hopefully soon we'll be able to live translate through no matter what device you have. So that's a plus. Um, the camera is gonna change. I think they're trying to simplify the camera. I know a couple people have problems with their camera and navigating when they want to take selfies or whatever it may be. They're simplifying the camera. I might update to check out the beta in a month. But they're simplifying that. I'm glad that they're simplifying the cameras app. Now, let's move on a little bit to the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch is having a Buddies application. It's going to be installed. It's going to take a little bit advantage of Apple Intelligence, so it can know your last workout. So, for example, if you begin a new walk workout, it will say, uh, oh, like, welcome back to your walk workout. Your last walk in this location was this long, and this is the duration. This is the much calories you burn, and this is your effort. Would you want to, race against your time and
Mm-hmm.
things like that? The Buddies app also will tell you, oh, good job. You got 14 steady days working out, running, or whatever it may be, and might offer you to rest for a day or two or whatever it may be. They have a new recoveries app that lets you know your recovered time and things like that, and a training that I want to kind of get into and see some of those uh things that are coming for the Apple Watch. Now, they had so many updates. I can't cover everything in this segment, but across all the devices they brought updates.
That's what's
Right.
up. Mm.
Well, I mean, and again, Apple's always, making sure that when they do their updates, I mean, again, it's a major thing. It's they do a lot. Generally their updates are not just about fixing issues. It's about trying to bring in the new features as well as fixing issues and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's just another reason why I prefer using them over everybody else, other than just the ease of use with the voiceover being easy to use once you get it figured out.
Right.
Navigating your phone is not hard once you get it figured out. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and again, so all this stuff. I mean, even like what Pedro talking about, getting up in them photos and stuff. I, for one, I'm not one to get up in there. I get mixed up. And I
Learn how to
ain't
navigate your
still
phone,
figured it
Ed.
out yet. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
but again, if photos were more important to me, I'd probably figure it out. But they're not that important to me now because I
Hmm.
can't see them. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I
And,
don't
and
worry about them that much.
yeah,
So
what I had set up on my mobile setup when some important things need to happen, especially with the Blind United work that I do. I have a folder that is just for it's a business folder, and it has all my. I even have mobile Word. Uh, the Copilot is there. I got a SharePoint. I even got Excel there, and because of my organization that we're on, me, Ed, and our Blind United, I'm able to sometimes take my work mobile, and sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. It all depends. Sometimes the
well,
setup might not work. Sometimes I need to be on computer. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
so I mean, I guess the main thing is Apple is doing everything they can to make sure that our phone remains versatile. You know what
hmm
I'm saying? And
Hmm.
they're doing more and more moving forward, trying to make sure that whatever you're doing on your iPhone will transfer over to your iPad and your Mac. So as time goes on, it doesn't matter if you're walking around with your phone or your iPad or your Mac
yes,
laptop, whatever, you'll be able to continue on with whatever work you're doing. So,
yeah, that's
anyway,
what the
let's jump
plan.
into
And that's a good thing on all the platforms. No matter what you're doing, you are able to be accessible to them all.
right. So, anyway, let's jump into a couple of these promos, and we'll get into our second article.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United. Did you know that people in third world countries do not have access to canes? The You Can Give initiative gives canes to people all over the world who cannot get canes. The You Can Give initiative not only goes to these countries and gives people canes, but they give people canes and a digital recorder that is solar powered, that has instructions on how to use the cane and instructions on how to repair the cane. The You Can Give initiative is a very worthy cause, giving canes to blind people all over the world. If you have a cane that you're no longer using, or a cane that's broken or bent, you can go to youcangive.org and get a shipping label, and you can ship your cane to Jimmy in Tennessee, and he will refurbish it and give your cane to a blind person in a third world country. That website again is youcangive.org.
All right. I just want to jump in there and say right quick, when we're talking about certain stuff, we're just now, we're finishing up that one article, trying to transition into the other article. Sometimes some of these things we can sit and talk about that particular article for the rest of the whole show. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm just trying to get rid of that conversation or whatever. I'm just trying to keep us on schedule. So anyway, that brings us into moving on to this second article. Basically, this one is a follow up to yesterday about what's going on L.A. and the way the actions by the administration have been increased. So anyway, check this out and look what they're doing now.
Hey, Blind United crew, grab your next cup as the Coffee Time crew gets into the second article. Yesterday, we discussed the initial deployment of the National Guard in Los Angeles. Today, in a stunning escalation overnight, the situation has intensified dramatically with the arrival of approximately 700 active-duty U.S. Marines, a move that is raising alarm bells across the state and the nation. This comes as President Trump has authorized an additional 2,000 National Guard troops, bringing the total military presence to over 4,000. The deployment of the Marines is an exceptionally rare event for a domestic situation. According to U.S. Northern Command, the Marines are being sent from 29 Palms to protect federal personnel and property amidst the ongoing protests. Their mission, however, is strictly limited. Due to a law known as the Posse Comitatus Act, active-duty military are prohibited from performing civilian law enforcement duties, meaning they cannot make arrests or conduct searches, unless the president invokes the Insurrection Act, which he has not yet done. The reaction from California's leadership has been both swift and furious. Governor Gavin Newsom, who has already filed a lawsuit over the initial deployment, called the addition of the Marines completely unwarranted and, in his words, an abuse of power. Meanwhile, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass stated that the arrival of federal military forces without clear coordination presents a significant logistical and operational challenge and appears to be a deliberate attempt by the administration to create chaos. For the residents of Los Angeles, the presence of Marines alongside National Guard troops has only amplified an already tense and fearful environment. While the military's role is officially supportive, civil liberties groups and community leaders are sounding the alarm. They argue that using active-duty troops against citizens, even in this limited capacity, blurs a critical line and sets a dangerous constitutional precedent. The situation, for now, remains incredibly volatile. This has evolved from a local protest into a major national story, pitting state sovereignty against federal authority and forcing a difficult conversation about the appropriate use of military power within our own borders. What are your thoughts on this? We'd love to hear them. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Well, I mean, I believe Trump is just totally out of line for what he's doing right now. Again, just from what I know about it, the knowledge I have, yeah, okay, ICE and immigration, they did start this whole chaos thing. I mean, due to Trump now putting quotas on ICE that they must bring in X amount of people every day, right, has put them in a position where now they're going and raiding private businesses where some of these folks are working. And, I mean, again, Home Depot, everybody know you can go down through Home Depot. You might be able to pick up, somebody there to help you out with some day labor, stuff like that. Again, these are just people trying to make a living. These are not people that's out there with a gun, trying to rob nobody, trying to rape nobody, trying to sell no drugs to nobody. They just people trying to make a living. So anyway, this whole confrontation jumped off. LAPD and the Los Angeles Sheriff Department had this stuff well under control. Okay. Yes, are there some bad actors? Yes, there's always going to be some bad actors, they mix in with the actual protesters. And then, I mean, come on. I mean, who wouldn't get upset, when you got these Gestapo type folks coming into your neighborhood doing what they're doing? Yeah, people are going to get upset. And yeah, there is some violence there, but not to the level that he needs to bring in the National Guard or the Marines. But, let's just look at our history. Him and Newsom have had an issue long before he ever even became president. He's always had an issue with not just Newsom, but the large blue state of California, the liberal state of California. I mean, again, so I think he's using this as an opportunity. He bypassed, the procedures, went around Newsom. Even after he had just got off the phone with Newsom and never mentioned anything about bringing in the National Guard, then he gets off the phone, signs an order federalizing the California National Guard, and tries to play it off like Newsom knew about this. Newsom didn't know nothing about this. Karen Bass didn't know nothing about this. It was not necessary. LAPD and the sheriffs had it all under control. California Highway Patrol, which is our state police, they were on their way to help out and pitch in as well. But what he do? He jumped the gun because he knows he's fanning the flames. Trump wants to make this a flashpoint. He wants to do everything he can right here to exert his power that he does not legally have, just to try to do more of a power grab. I mean, again, he needs to back up. I mean, I seen some stuff last night. I was watching, and bottom line, the protesters were being moved around. They have turned LA into a bottom line. You can't protest in LA right now. Okay, it's just that simple. They had to because it's just too much of a distraction, too much of a disruption to what's going on in the city. So, bottom line, they did. But anyway, what I watched last night, LAPD, sheriffs, whatever, they had this all under control. There wasn't no violence that I could see. That in the clips, the news articles that I seen, people were just being moved around and moved around every time they tried to find a new way into the downtown area. The sheriffs or the police would block them and they'd have to go around. They're not being allowed inside the downtown LA with their protests right now. So anyway, again, Trump is trying to make something happen here, and God forbid that he gets his wish because it ain't gonna be pretty. So
No.
anyway, go for it, Kel.
I mean, you're right. It's just a sad time for our country. I fear for all of the families that are legal citizens, and they're just trying to just make a life for their families. And here it is, just based on the color of their skin or the language that they speak. You're assuming that these are rapists, these are criminals, they are illegal, and separation of just people. I just I don't understand it. Like you say, your governor, your mayor, none of them, are uh, uh, having this conversation with the president, and he's just overstepping everything. He feels like he can do all of this, and that's just it's illegal. None of us could get away with anything like this, and now here it is. He's just grandstanding and taking over things that he has no business sticking his hands in. Like you say, you can even down here in Dallas, you can go to Home Depot and find a day labeler, but to do, any type of work, and they are legal. But here it is, people are afraid to even just come out and do anything. And it's sad. It really is sad for our country. I don't get it.
Well,
It angers me. It really does.
well, I mean, again, think about this. These people are going around. He said he was going after the criminals and whatever. Bottom line, but he's going after everyday people who are just trying to do their job. Yes, are they technically, criminals? Yes, because, if they're not here legally, then that makes them a criminal. But if they're also going through the process, he's swiping them up when they go to appear for their court dates. He's swiping them up when they go to the doctor. He's swiping them up. Imagine how many kids and parents are not going to go to their children's graduation for fear of being locked up. I mean, it's
Right.
just it's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Anyway, Tisha said hello again. No, I'm sorry. Tisha, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a shout out. Her son Jayon is graduating today, so hopefully everything is good there. You don't get raided at the school.
Right.
So, but other than that, then
Congratulations.
yeah,
Congratulations.
we got a new commenter here. Branowitz, welcome, Branowitz. No, we don't have a call in. Thank you for enjoying the topic. You just drop your comments right here, and I'll try to make sure that we get them out of there. All right,
Yeah.
Pedro, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, number one issue is, the blatancy of the racistness that he has. He tried to bring the white uh, South Africans, claiming that they were being genocide, even though they got 70% of the land over there.
Mm,
You could tell who he's targeting. He's not only just targeting immigrants, he's going into schools, he's going into private businesses, and they're arresting everybody. I seen videos in in Hawthorne, California. They had a pregnant woman on the floor. They manhandled a woman, a
ooh.
pregnant woman, and everybody was telling them that she was pregnant.
Mm,
Um, and other forms, they went into a market and arrested everybody. They didn't ask for papers. They didn't ask for birth certificate, no ID, no nothing. They started arresting people, going into schools and terrorizing the children that are trying to learn. It's a whole other thing now too, and it's sad to say that he just wants to cause this chaos so he can come in and say, "Look, I came in and I made it right." Distracting from the Jeffrey Epstein, distracting from the failing administration, distracting from his new nickname named Taco. Trump always chickens out. He
mm,
is fighting himself on his own tariffs, claiming that he has made deals with other countries when the countries come out and say we haven't even talked. And this is a failing administration, and I think he's flailing and stuff like that. But to put innocent people in danger, to to declare downtown Los Angeles a non non assembly zone.
Yeah, they had
That
temporary non-assembly zone.
and
yeah,
that's illegal because you have the
yeah,
right to assemble.
exactly. The
Well,
what happened
unless
in the
unless it
60s and
causes,
70s. You
Well,
know what happened
danger or
to all.
something of that sort. Yes, but
well,
they're not
again, but
violent. They're not being violent. They're being turned away.
again, when it gets to the level where it is right now, it becomes a distraction to the normal flow of business in downtown LA, and that's why they turned that zone into a
Yes.
non-zone.
Okay.
That's the only reason. I mean, you can go anywhere, like he's talking about. Just understanding it's probably the same way no matter where we go, right?
Right.
Downtown LA is, it's a specific area, but when you hear us talking about, Hawthorne or Inglewood or San Pedro, all these are other little cities that are within LA, and
They're
you can go to
protesting.
any of those cities,
Yeah, they're
you know,
protesting there too. There's protests all over, not just downtown.
right?
And now,
Paramount.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
there's rumors of.
They've been around raiding places all over. Just folks just going to work, doing their job. Just
Right.
Oh,
non-violent people.
Right.
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
you catch them in Whittier, Paramount,
all
Downey,
over.
Hawthorne, Torrance, Bell Gardens, HP. They had HP streets blocked off. Um, I never seen a part of HP Loki empty.
Well, just so what
Empty.
Pedro, just to be clear, he's talking about Huntington Park, y'all.
Correct, correct. Huntington Park, downtown, empty, guys. And I wouldn't blame people not showing up. I think we might have to do a whole 2 or 3 days of protest, meaning stay home. Don't go to work because you want to know the irony. I know someone that right now is at work, right? And guess what he's
Right.
doing? He's hanging a custom painting in Mar-a-Lago, and he's Latino. And you know why he's not going out to have lunch or go souvenir shopping for his family? Because he's Latino. And guess who is hanging that painting for? For Trump. The irony. He has a Latino that is going to go work and put these paintings up for him. He has
Hmm.
Okay.
workers in his resorts, there are Latinos
And
working.
ain't no raids going on there. ICE ain't showing up at his front gate.
No, you know they're not
Exactly.
gonna do that. He
You
want his
know,
work done. He don't care
ICE
who
ain't
doing
showing
it.
up at none of his hotels. They ain't showing up at none of his golf courses. None
Mm-mm.
of this. When
Mm.
and in these places, at least 75, 80% of his employees are immigrants.
Yeah,
Okay, it's just that simple. So again, like Pedro said, we could talk about this guy, and the things he's doing for
Call him
forever.
Taco. Taco. We could talk about Taco all day long.
Yeah, we could talk about Taco and all of the various ingredients he has on top of him, but
mm. But
again,
they ain't edible.
they show
Yeah,
ain't
they make
edible.
you want to throw up.
But anyway, I mean, again, just pay attention to what's going on, y'all. I mean, this man is making these folks disappear. He's already made some American children disappear, and
Citizen.
they're citizens again.
Citizen.
Hmm.
Right? So now, if he can make them disappear, he can make us disappear,
That's right.
whether you're legal or not. If he can make an American citizen disappear, even though he tries to do this under the pretense, well, the mother didn't want to be separated from the child. They wanted to take their child with them. Okay, well, again, you had no right to send that child with the mother out of the country.
With
Right.
cancer, brain cancer at that.
Yeah, and without the permission of the other parent. Okay,
Mm, mm, mm.
so I mean, it's just crazy. So anyway, we'll keep following this story as it progresses because I don't see it coming to an end no time soon. So just stay tuned for that part of it. We're gonna jump into a couple more promos, get into this last article, and then we'll close out Tuesday. Did you know Blind United offers free training in assistive technology? We call them interest groups. We offer training in JAWS, NVDA, iPhone, iPad, as well as Meta Ray-Bans. We also have groups like support group, cooking groups, and crafting groups. There are also groups for entertainment like movie night and RS game night. For more information about all the interest groups that we offer, just email us at info@blindunited.org or visit our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Group. We would love to have you be part of the Blind United crew.
June 21st, got a vibe so right. Come through the service and a day tonight. It's Blind United, yeah, we're bringing the flair. Crafts and colors floating in the air. Jewels that shine, lotion so smooth. Mosaics, baked goods, handmade grooves. You don't wanna miss this artful affair. Blind made magic, love everywhere. Jewel that shine, lotion so smooth. Mosaics, baked goods, handmade grooves. You don't wanna miss this artful affair. Blind made magic, love everywhere. You want a table, just 25 bucks. Bring your vision, your craft, your luck. Vendors welcome, come show your pride. Let your work shine, let your soul ride. It's more than a fair, it's a moment to share with a community that truly cares. So email us now, don't miss your spot. info@blindunited.org, we got a lot. Jewels that shine, lotion so smooth. Mosaics, baked goods, handmade grooves. You don't wanna miss this artful affair. Blind made magic, love everywhere. So come vibe with the crew, enjoy the day. Blind United has got it set our way. June 21st, bring your smile and light. Art and love, yeah, we'll shine so bright.
All right. Well, again, today is the cutoff for anybody that would like to have a table at the crafting event. So again, if that's something you was looking forward to getting involved with and want to have a table set up over there, again, today's the cutoff. Get at us. info@blindunited.org. Bottom line, you can Zelle your money to blindunited2022 at Gmail. That'll reserve your table. Get at me at info. I will make sure that you get a registration form so you can get that in. Right now, looks like we're going to be really, really close to, I don't know, somewhere between 20 and 25 different tables. So we got quite a few people showing up for this. So get your money together and come on out and hang out and help support what we're trying to do with Blind United and showcasing, the abilities of our community. So anyway, damn, I done forgot what this third one's about. Pedro, what's the title on that one?
It's a staggering figure to comprehend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know. Okay. If you don't know what the article is, you wouldn't know what that even means, right? So,
Right.
well, I just grab a couple lines just so I know what it is, right? But anyway, folks, y'all are not gonna believe this, okay? And with money and the economy doing what it's doing, right? And money getting tight, this is amazing. Check this out, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Hey, Blind United crew, grab another cup as the Coffee Time crew gets into this final article. It's a staggering figure to consider, but according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, a massive 30 to 40% of the entire American food supply ends up not on our plates, but in our landfills. All that waste adds up quickly, creating significant environmental strain and, perhaps more immediately, a major drain on our wallets. The good news, however, is that tackling this problem can start right in our own homes and can make a real financial difference. In fact, cooks and authors in the scrappy cooking movement have estimated that the average family could save more than $1,000 a year simply by having a solid plan for the food they buy. This isn't about eating less or compromising on quality. It's about being more mindful and resourceful with what we have. It all starts with a plan, knowing what meals you'll make for the week before you head to the grocery store. This simple step helps prevent those impulse buys that often wilt in the back of the fridge. From there, it's about smart storage and understanding dates. Many fruits and vegetables last longer when stored properly, and knowing the difference between a best by date, which is a suggestion for peak quality, and a use by date, which is about safety, can prevent perfectly good food from being thrown away. The freezer is also your best friend here, a perfect tool for preserving leftovers or buying in bulk and saving food for later. Adopting a truly scrappy mindset means learning to see the value in food scraps. Those onion peels, carrot tops, and celery ends can be saved in a bag in the freezer and later used to make a delicious, free vegetable stock. Stale bread can become croutons or breadcrumbs, and wilted herbs can be blended into oils or sauces. For our community, pairing these habits with accessible tools makes it even easier. Using a braille labeler or an audio labeling system on containers in the fridge and freezer can be a game changer for keeping track of what you have. Apps like Be My Eyes can also be a huge help in a pinch to read a confusing expiration date. By getting scrappy in the kitchen, we not only put more than $1,000 back into our pockets, but we also take pressure off our planet. It's a simple, powerful way to make a difference, one meal at a time. What are your favorite tips for reducing food waste at home? We'd love to hear them. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
And when I first read this, I get it. And I would probably say that, out of that 30 to 40% or whatever they're talking about is going into the landfill, I'd almost be willing to bet that over 50% of that it comes from fast food. You know what I'm saying? People go and buy this stuff and then they don't necessarily eat it all and then they just ball it up and throw it in the trash or whatever. But when it comes to your house, what they're talking about with this scrappy cooking and stuff, imagine this, Thanksgiving rolls around, right? We cooked this great big old turkey, you know what I'm saying? We had the family left over. 9 times out of 10, we got turkey left over, so what do we do with the leftover turkey? That's where the scrappy thing comes in. Maybe one day you have turkey sandwiches, One of the favorites in my house is, a couple days later, when we get down to the scraps of the turkey, right? Turkey tacos. You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about going and getting you a roast beef. So, you cook that roast beef the first day, you having roast beef and, mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, whatever you prefer to have with that. What do you have the next day? Oh, well, you could have roast beef sandwiches. Or you could take and do something else with that roast beef. Again, maybe tacos, maybe burritos, maybe I don't know, this is an American thing. I don't know how many people know about it. It's called SOS. There's actually a military thing that they used to call shit on a shingle. Uh, it's basically, beef mixed with gravy and it's put over the top of potatoes and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
So, I mean, again, when you plan your meals, that's what they're trying to say. When you plan your meals, okay, look, you know what? I got a taste for roast beef, so I'm gonna buy a roast. Okay, well, I know I can't eat all that roast, so what else can I do with that roast for the rest of the week, right? And that's where you start saving that money. Who could not use an extra $1,000 in their bank account? You know what I'm saying? And if you do some of these things, you can save that kind of money. So, anyway, and then on the accessibility side, again, you know, the Be My Eyes, you can take a picture of what's in the refrigerator, ask it, what can I make with the ingredients? You can do the same thing with a lot of your smart devices, your Meta Ray Bans, stuff like that. So, again, help you with your laboring, help you make sure you don't, have stuff that's out of date. You can get rid of the stuff that's spoiled. But the whole goal here is to not let anything spoil. So, anyway, that's my little tips on it, my outtake. Go ahead, Carol.
I I buy in bulk, even though I live alone. I still cook, so I'll buy in bulk and break it down in portion controls. Do my Ziploc bags, use my pen friend to label it, and I know what it is because, of course, once it's frozen, sometimes it's hard to tell unless it's a drumstick or something of that sort. When I do make like roast or, if I have a whole chicken or something of that sort, depending, if I'm entertaining someone or what have you, I'll do chicken salad, a turkey salad. The taco idea is a good one because never thought about that. And I love tacos, but I try to utilize my food as best I can. I use the Be My Eyes application, seeing AI to kind of read different things. And I try to save as much as I can because I hate throwing away money. Uh, so I even will buy, frozen vegetables, my Brussels sprouts or broccoli florets or, my cauliflower or California mix blend of vegetables and things of that sort to where it's actually packaged individually to where it's portion control when I buy it at Sam's Club. And that way I don't have a lot of leftovers. Just make sure that I stock my icebox and freezer with Arm and Hammer baking soda so that it keeps everything fresh. And that way I feel like I'm saving money, because I'm not throwing a lot of things away. Because, for me, that's a big, big thing. Groceries aren't cheap. And I try to save as much as I can, as often as I can. So I utilize every bit of what I cook, uh, to keep from throwing it away.
Right.
Since it's just me.
Right. And I agree. Again, whatever you can do to save that money, do it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever way works for you, make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Because
saying,
it ain't like I get food stamps. You know what I'm saying?
all right. So,
I'm spending real money.
so what are some of your little tips and tricks, Pedro, being a father and trying to provide for your kids and make sure they got something to eat every night? What are
Yeah.
your tricks?
Well, one good thing to do is because I buy a lot of meat and frozen stuff too to preserve. It's getting one of them labelers. Lately I fall off my strategy, but putting those little pin print stickers that you can assign a label to, and so it can tell
Mm-hmm.
you what type of meat it is. It's a problem I used to have that I need to get back on. And usually it's I buy a family pack meat. Sometimes I see I have somebody that goes with me to shops, and we look at the deals, and sometimes, we get like 8 or 10 pieces of chicken. I split it into 2 meals. Boom, 5 pieces, and then I make rice with vegetables and stuff like that. And sometimes I make for them to get 2 times. Usually I leave a little bit of leftovers. I try not to because I notice they won't pick up the leftovers and eat them. So I don't want to waste food like that. So one of the things to do if you have a family is pay attention and see what they do. And because I used to leave the leftovers, and sometimes they grab them, but most times they don't. So I stopped leaving for leftovers and try to make an exact meal. But when I
Mm-hmm.
purchase, I try to split it into 2 meals and see how can I divide it and make it equally. And I always shop around. I don't just stay in one store too. Let's say if I go to my local grocery store, some things are high there, but in another grocery store they're lower. So I'll go look around, and sometimes even buying in bulk. If you're in a family, buying in bulk and splitting that into multiple. Let's say you grab a package that might have, let's say, 40 items. You could say, I'll take 10 for this week, 10 for the next week, 10 for the next week, and you just put them in your shelf, and there the kids have something to grab, and then the next week you restock you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it could go a long way, but utilizing different tactics, even if you have a credit card that gives you, let's say, 3 or 5% back on groceries, you know, put the money there, spend it there, get your 5% back, and then just keep it at zero, but use it for your groceries to get some of the money back. Because the way we're talking now, this was happening in the 1930s when the recession started to come on back then. They were seeing how they could ration food, and this was sometimes not margarine, but that came because of World War II. But I mean, like stew and other things that we started using because of the hard times back then. And
Right.
it
Right.
seems like we're going back to that way. And the Trump regime is saying that no, there's no recession, but there is already people in financing industry saying that it looks like we're heading to a hard recession. You know?
Now we on our
Right.
way to one. Just like he said, these tariffs wasn't going to be a tax on American citizens. That these foreign countries are going to pay these tariffs,
Mm.
but yet you're going to
Mm.
stand on national news until Amazon and Walmart that they need to cover the cost of the tariffs. Okay, but it's not a tax on us; it's a tax on the other country. So why we have to tell these people to pay the tariff if it's going
Right.
to be on the other country? So all this stuff doesn't make any sense. I mean, just use your head. I mean, like myself, as an example, if you like stew or whatever the case may be, as an example, myself personally, I can't eat the same dish more than twice in a row. So if I make a pot of chili, I'm gonna eat that tonight. I'm gonna eat it again tomorrow. But after tomorrow, I'm breaking the rest of whatever's left down and I'm putting it in baggage and I'm putting it in the freezer
Right.
into single size servings. And then you can do that regardless what you're cooking, whether especially as a
Mm-hmm.
single person.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
again, break it down. Okay, well, we had chili, but bottom line, just so you know, if you get hungry through the week and you might want some chili for lunch, there's bags in the chili in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
Just thaw them up and get you a serving. Or take that chili and put some Fritos or whatever in a bowl and dump that chili on top of it or whatever. You know,
Put a little
whatever.
cheese and you got a Frito pie.
There's a whole lot you can do
Mm.
with it. You know what I'm saying?
Chili Fritos.
Yeah, Frito
So I
pie.
mean, again, there's ways to do this stuff and not waste food and at the
Mm-hmm.
same time saving money. You're already going to save money because you're not wasting the food, right?
Right.
So, but again, just making those meals stretch further. If you can make that pot of chili stretch out to 2-3 days worth of food, that's
Mm-hmm.
2-3 days worth of food you ain't got to buy. It's all
That's
in
true.
one.
Yeah.
It's all
Mm-hmm.
in one purchase.
Yeah.
So
And
I
if
mean,
you're able to get cash back like 5 up to 5%, I've seen some in some credit cards, and sometimes I do. Um, that could come useful for you. It adds up throughout the years if
Oh,
you
it does.
manage it correctly and keep it at a zero balance, just pay it off and just keep getting your cash back, and for people that drive, I was showing one of my family members on their gas how they could actually earn money, you know, uh, back on their gas because they drive so much, and they didn't thought about it like that,
Yeah, it's
But
like a cashback plan.
Well,
Mhm.
and then look around because they also have other apps out there now that were like on gas and stuff like that, right? You go and it'll show you in the app, where you can get, this cash back, right?
Right.
And it's not that you get the cash back on the purchase, but once you get done with the purchase, then you take a copy or picture of your receipt, upload it into the app, and then the app automatically puts that money back in your account. So I mean, again, these are just little tips and tricks of ways you can save a couple bucks. And again, regardless of what the fat man says, the red man, whatever Taco says, bottom line,
Hey,
he doesn't do nothing but lie, y'all.
yes, one more
We
comment.
are in a recession, and bottom line,
We
it
there.
ain't gonna get worse. That's all. Go ahead, Pedro, before we get
Well,
out
it's
of
going to get worse before it gets better, you see.
Oh yeah.
Um, hey, I was seeing right-wing media, and they were viewing between the Elon Musk and the Trump beef, right? And they were like, "These are two alpha males," and I was like, "Hold up, that's a wrong picture. One is a tech nerd, the other one is a crybaby. None of them are alpha males."
Neither one of them
No.
are.
But they want to portray that alpha male image.
For
Right.
real?
Right.
Yeah, so, but anyway, y'all, just, pay attention to what's going on. Do what you can to try to cut corners. I mean, we're trying to give you a few tips and tricks on that. So, but anyway, we're going to keep bringing this stuff to you every week, every day. So, again, if you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, share, follow, comment. Whatever it is you can do, wherever, no matter what platform you watch this on, please do it. It really, really does help. And that's all we got for Tuesday. We'll be back in with you tomorrow on Wednesday with 3 more different articles, trying to keep you informed about what's going on around here. So everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget that if you want to be a part of our crafting fair, today's your last opportunity to get involved and get you a table. So on that note, again, everybody enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.